So 2 weeks ago, while cycling on my way to work, I got hit by a car. Recently, I've been cleared to put a light amount of weight on my injured leg and am able to start doing physical therapy. Although I have been cleared to move around more, I found it quite difficult to motivate myself to get outside of the house and move around while on crutches. So this week, I wanted to challenge myself by completing the slowest 5K that I have ever attempted, by completing 1 kilometer per day for the next 5 days. By completing this challenge, I hope to answer 3 different questions. 1, does traveling at such a snail's pace provide some sort of unique insight to the environment around you? Number 2, will pushing myself with this challenge hinder or ultimately benefit my overall recovery with my injury? And number 3, how long does it actually take to complete a 5K while on crutches? Just a quick disclaimer, I have spoken with my doctor and my physical therapist, and they both gave me the thumbs up to go 1 kilometer per day while on my crutches. Alright, so it is day 1 of the challenge. Today is Monday, May 20th. I'm gonna strap on my closed-toed shoes. I can finally fit my injured foot, or the foot of my injured leg. I can finally fit the foot of my injured leg in a closed-toed shoe, so I'm quite excited about that. And for today, we're gonna take it pretty easy. I'm gonna attempt to just make it to the convenience store close to my house. It's a little under 1 kilometer, so I will probably go all the way to the convenience store, and then I'll travel a little bit of the ways back towards my house and then take an Uber once I complete my 1st kilometer for the challenge. All right, so day 1. I think the thing that stood out the most at first was just how many people stopped to ask if I needed a ride. Kind of heartwarming in a way, just to see that so many random people were concerned about my well-being. The craziest thing about that is I was probably only on the road for at most 10 minutes. Most of the time I was on a kind of tucked away bike path, so pretty crazy that 3 people stopped to ask if I needed a ride just in that time span. Another thing that really stood out to me on day 1 is just how many people I ended up talking to because I was going so slow. So I probably ended up talking to at least 3 times as many strangers as I normally would just on a normal walk around. After 38 minutes of hobbling around, I finally made it to the convenience store. Let's go. And I got myself some pizza shapes as a reward once I finally made it into the convenience store. To close out day 1, while I was waiting for my Uber, I saw some guy role-playing Gandalf, which was just pretty entertaining. All right, it is day 2. Yesterday it felt really good. Honestly, felt quite easy to me. Here in Cairns, they have this kind of park thing called the Botanical Gardens, and it's quite hilly, so I feel like it'll be a nice kind of challenge for me trying to go up some inclines and stuff. We'll see how we go. Now, the gardens themselves are actually quite a decent distance away from my house, so I will have to take an Uber to get there. But I think it'll be worth it as it is quite a cool area to see anyways. All right, so day 2, took a 5-minute Uber to get to the gardens. Straight away, once I started making my way down the path, I saw what looked like a turkey, which I thought was only an American thing, but apparently Australia has bush turkeys, so that was kind of cool. So the pathways themselves were pretty easy to navigate even with my crutches, and the incline wasn't too difficult for me either. The general vibe of the paths were very much kind of like Zen Buddhist monastery meets Jurassic Park. I found myself enjoying the walk a lot though. Before I knew it, I'd actually done 1.6 Ks instead of the 1 that I was supposed to do, but my fastest split ended up being 27 minutes and 30 seconds. As I was calling it for the day, I found another weird bird. What even is that? Alright, so end of day 2. To be honest, that felt really good as well. I almost want to go for a 10K throughout the entire week. I think I'll probably end up keeping it 5Ks in 5 days and then just do my 1st kilometer on each distinct day when I'm the fastest. But I will still shoot for 10Ks in total. I think it would just be cool to do 10 and see if I could actually make it. All right, so it is day 3 today. I think it's gonna be the urban segment of the 5K. I'm gonna go from my house down to the shops, and then I'm gonna get a haircut as well, because I haven't actually been able to get into the haircut place since my accident, so give a little purpose to the excursion for today. So yeah, day 3 was not very exciting, to be honest. It was my fastest day. I did a 1K in 23 minutes and 25 seconds for a total of 2 kilometers. And yeah, I was pretty shocked to see that even after doing 2Ks while walking around on crutches, I still felt pretty good. So I was ready to up the ante to 2.5 for the next day. We made it. All right, so it is day 4. I'm gonna go for 2.5 kilometers in total today. I'm gonna take an Uber out to an area where there's a bit of an incline and it takes you up to an actual viewpoint, which I think will be really cool and a bit more of a challenge. There is a little bit of like trail and kind of off-road terrain on this one, so I'm gonna be taking it very easy. If it does get to be too much, I'll just turn back, and then there's a bike path right next to it, so I'll do that instead. But yeah, we'll see how we go. All right, so day 4. I took another 5-minute Uber over to Stratford, which is one of the surrounding neighborhoods in Cairns. My goal was to make it up Lumley Hill, which is a viewpoint in which you can see the river and the surrounding area. All right, so I think this hill behind me is what I'm supposed to be climbing, and it looks kind of cooked, to be honest. I'm gonna go up there and see how it goes, but I may have to just keep going down the bike path, which is fine as is. I've been enjoying this as well, so. I'd never done it before, so I wasn't quite sure how the trail would look once I got there. Day 4 was definitely humbling for me. It was the first time that I actually got pretty tired after doing one of these. And it also just showed me there's a lot of things that I just still physically can't do yet. Well, turns out, look at that spider web, by the way, whoa. Well, it turns out I overshot the paved version that goes up to this lookout and ended up on a trail version. And this looks a little bit too dicey for me to tackle. So I'm gonna try and backtrack, see if we can go up the other way, though I may be a little bit tired out by that point, so. Yeah, this looks a little bit too all terrain for me at the moment, so. So I was in the process of backtracking when a lady pulled off to the side of the road and asked if I needed a lift, and I took her up on it. Oh, my leg is so itchy. So she dropped me off basically where I started, and then I found out that the other path up to the summit was too dangerous for me to get to by crutches anyways. I'm just gonna continue down the bike road in the opposite direction because it's just not very safe for me. So I ended up going about another 1K in the opposite direction. I'd done 1.5 before. My GPS times got a little bit messed up because of the car ride over. I forgot to turn it off. But my first kilometer split was 27 minutes and 47 seconds. Yeah, so just hit the 2.5K. It's kind of at the edge of my comfortable limit at the moment. But yeah, I'm gonna call it for this one and get an Uber home. All right, it is day 5 and the finale of the 5K challenge. So today I wanted to do something a little bit interesting. I'm gonna take the ferry to Fitzroy Island, which is one of the islands off the coast here in Cairns. I think today I'm gonna try and do 1 to 1.5K and then get on the ferry, get my break in on the ferry, and then finish the rest for a total of 3Ks today. So by the end of this week, in total, I will have hit 10Ks for my entire distance. Anyways though, yeah, I'll see you at Fitzroy. Day 5. So before I got on the ferry, I did about 1.7 Ks around the Esplanade, which is kind of in the city business district of Cairns. My main reason for doing this was the day before I'd gotten pretty tired and worn out, especially on my forearms. after doing 2.5 Ks. After asking my physical therapist, he said that I should be fine as long as I take breaks in between, especially when I start to get tired. So my plan was to take a break while sitting on the ferry on my way to the island. On the way to the island, the captain had his feet up and his shoes off on the dash, which to me is just such an Aussie thing, and that's probably one of the reasons why I love it here so much as well. No one takes anything too seriously. Fitzroy Island was nice, but I think the most significant thing about day 5 was just the fact that I actually made it to the island. If you told me I was gonna be at Fitzroy at the beginning of the week, I probably wouldn't have even believed you. For day 5, my fastest 1K split ended up being 25 minutes and 20 seconds. At around 2.6 Ks, I hit a dead end where it just was way too steep for me to make it up on crutches. Yeah, so I've hit a little bit of an impasse. It's a little bit too steep for me to tackle on crutches. Just hit 3K in total for today, so that does it for the crutch marathon, 10K in total. I think I'm gonna pack things up and just chill until the next ferry comes. I'm pretty gassed. My forearms are completely cooked. But yeah, that's a wrap on the 5/10K. All right, so post 5K challenge, my overall time from my fastest splits ended up being just about 2 hours and 20 minutes. For context, back in high school when I used to do cross country, I did a 5K at about 16.5 minute pace. So quite a steep drop off from my prime, but I'm still pretty happy with it considering I was on crutches. But the 10K time, I'm not even gonna try to remember or track because it got all messed up when I got picked up in the car. Now, the other part of this experiment, did I gain any sort of insight from moving so slowly? I would say yes. Moving at such a slow pace, you really start to notice just how busy any one given street or place really is. Because of that, you happen to see a lot of stuff that I feel you normally wouldn't. In my case, a lot of the animals that I saw while hiking, and then of course, the Gandalf imposter that I saw on the street as well, stuff like that. Is there any reason that you might want to go this slow? I would say yeah. I think that going for a walk at such a slow pace every now and then really opens you up to meeting and talking to other people because you just end up interacting with so many more. And it helps you just kind of observe little things that you normally wouldn't notice if you were in a bit more of a rush. Finally, do I think this helped or hurt my recovery? I would say it definitely helped. Physically, I think a little bit just on my leg, but more so mentally for sure. If you had told me that at the beginning of this challenge, I would go all the way out to Fitzroy and quasi hike around out there, I would have probably not believed it. I think pushing yourself a little bit while you're in recovery is definitely a good thing because you can easily fall into the trap of sitting in your room and saying, well, I probably shouldn't bother because I'm still in recovery. Then I feel like it's just very easy to fall into a lull where you just don't do anything at all. This experiment really reminded me just how many good people are out and about that you would just not normally notice. The amount of people that stopped to see if I was okay or if I needed a ride kind of blew my mind. And then of course the lady that picked me up and did give me a ride, as well as all the different people that I didn't get on camera but I talked to throughout this challenge that just wanted the best for me and were kind of curious about my situation. The brace and the crutches makes it really easy for me at the moment to be open about what I'm struggling with and going through. I think that you'd just be surprised how many people are willing and open to give you a helping hand if you need it. But anyways, that's it for this video. I will catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.